Dear students, in this session we will consider what is known as neutral preferences. Neutral preferences. It's a case of inert ingredients. Inert ingredients. A commodity is said to be neutral if the consumer will not get any utility from consuming it. A commodity is neutral if the consumer will not get any utility from its consumption. Consequently, the commodity will not enter in the utility function of the consumer, and hence it will not affect the level of his utility. And a consumer is concerned only with the consumption of other commodities. He is not concerned with the consumption of such a commodity. As an example, many pharmaceutical products use inert ingredients, and a consumer will not get any utility from these inert ingredients used in the pharmaceutical products, tablets. It is not the size of the tablet which is important, the content, the medicinal value. So the size is determined by the inert ingredient. So the consumer is interested, or utility is a function of active ingredients only. Consumer is interested, or utility is a function of active ingredients only, and the utility function for such a case is like this. Suppose that one commodity is active ingredient, X is an active ingredient, Y is an inert ingredient. Then the level of utility U1 depends on the quantity of active ingredients. Utility will not increase if the level of inert ingredient increases, and utility will increase if the quantity of active ingredient increases like this. So U1, U2, U3 like this, in which U1 is less than U2, less than U3 like that. Utility is a function of active ingredients only. Indifference curve is not affected by, the level of utility is not influenced by the quantity of inert ingredients. And only the increase in the consumption of active ingredients increases utility. Axiom 3 is violated. That is, axiom more is preferred to less is violated. Also, averages are not preferred to extremes. So, axiom 4 is also violated. Axiom 3 is violated. Axiom 4 is also violated. If one commodity is an inert ingredient, the other one is an active ingredient. And a last case which we consider is satiated preferences. Satiated preferences. Satiated preferences, or what is known as satiation. Satiation. That is, there are situations in which we will consider what is known as a situation involving satiation, when there is an overall best bundle for the consumer. there is an overall best bundle for the consumer. And if the consumer is able to consume that bundle, that is a case of satiation. And the closer he is to this bundle, that is the overall best bundle, the better he is in terms of preferences. And suppose that for two commodities X and Y, this satiation point is given as Y bar X bar. That is the overall best bundle is given as X bar Y bar. That is the most preferred bundle. And farther away from the bundle, he will be worse off. Closer to the bundle, he is better off. Here we say that the bundle X bar Y bar is the satiation point or the bliss point. The satiation point or the bliss point, like this. The satiation point or the bliss point. And the direction of increasing utility is given like this. The direction of increasing utility is given like this. The satiation point is given by X bar Y bar. And this is the point of bliss where all the wants are satisfied. In this case, this will be the shape of the indifference curves. The best point is X bar Y bar, the point of bliss, the satiation point. Farther away from the satiation point, the consumer is on a lower indifference curve. And here, indifference curve has a negative slope when he has too little of X and Y and also too much of X and Y. Too little of X and Y and also too much of X and Y. And it has a positive slope when there is too much of one good. Indifference curve has a negative slope if there is too little of X and Y, positive slope if too much of one good. Now, in this case, prior to the bliss point, preferences satisfy all the axioms. All the four axioms are satisfied. And once the bliss point is reached, who is concerned with the axioms of preferences? Resources are no longer limited, so allocation is not at all a problem. So in the bliss point, no one is concerned with whether any axioms are satisfied or not. But this is the point where every consumer wants to reach, but given the limitations of resources, a consumer generally will not reach here. So until reaching this point, indifference curve satisfies all the axioms. Once it is reached, once this point is reached, no one is concerned with the axioms, whether axioms are satisfied or not. So remember this. If this is the bliss point, like this, if there is too much of both, indifference curve is negative sloped, too little of negatively sloped, one is more, one is less, positive. This is the correct shape. So these are the cases. The normal shape given by a Cobb-Douglas utility function having satisfying all the axioms, well behaved indifference curves. Then perfect complements, perfect substitutes, then a bad commodity, an inert ingredient, and the point of bliss satiation. Keep these cases in mind.